I'm your host, Eva, and today's episode is really special because we're diving into something that is so close to the heart of the podcast, the power of the village. We've all heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. But what about before that? What about the village that supports you when you're planning a family, or when you're pregnant, or when you're preparing for birth, and when you're navigating those tender, messy, beautiful days afterwards? That's where the baby fair comes in. And let me tell you, this isn't your typical baby fair filled with all those products and prams. Nope. This is the support fair, the very first of its kind, and it was born from a deep need to bring the old school village back together in this modern era. Imagine walking into a space where over 60 passionate professionals, each one offering something they wish that they had themselves on their own journey, are there just for you. To share wisdom, to hold space, to connect, to remind you that you are not alone. And here's something that makes it even more exciting, because so many of the voices you've actually heard on this podcast are actually going to be there too. I myself am going to be there moderating the very first panel about pre-pregnancy. You'll also hear from Dr. Naomi Gibson, who many of you will have heard through her whole first season. Doulas, Tony from the Little Birth Company, who's going to be there opening up about her own journey with her NICU baby. You'll also hear from Claudia from the Ludisa Support Network for the neurodiverse community, and also Amélie, who's going to be bringing her expertise for nutrition during the pregnancy. So whether you're dreaming of starting a family, already pregnant with your first, or juggling life with your second, third, or fourth, this is the chance to meet your village, to learn, to feel supported, and to walk away with more than information, but with a community. And just like this podcast, the Baby Fair is all about showcasing the people, the stories, the hands and the hearts that hold us through one of the biggest life transitions there is. So today we're sitting down with the organizer of this incredible event to talk about where the idea came from, why it matters so deeply, and what you can expect when you walk through those doors. Because let's be honest, we all wish we had a bit more support. And now, here it is. Maria, hi.
Hi, Eva. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us. So the Baby Fair is going to be on Saturday, the 11th of October in Equals in Amsterdam, and tickets are still available. So we are delighted to have you here to give us a little bit more in depth so people can actually find out a little bit more about this, because it is such an amazing opportunity especially for people planning to get pregnant, and to know that how are we going to do this without our family. So what's actually inspired you to create this fair, and was there a personal moment in your own journey where it made you feel like this is what's missing and this is what families are actually needing?
Yes, absolutely. Well, let me start with saying I was already very moved by how you express the value of the baby fair. It's exactly what you mentioned, just we're trying to have people feel seen and heard and held, and mothered. And that is exactly what I felt was missing in the only one other fair that I knew at the time, about 18 months ago, in the Negenmandenbeurs. So there was this humongous space with thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and they were being handed Coca-Cola at the entrance. They were all pregnant women going to get products and free samples of things, and free, and more, and stuff. And I was there because I was a bit shocked already, because my expectation was different of what was needed in pregnancy. So I was already a bit shocked, like many other of the collaborators of the Baby Fair that had been there before. The first impression was shock. Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we allowing this hyper-consumerist society to, make all the way into the wombs, when in reality, and based on my personal story, what we need is something completely different. Because if you're struggling, when every visitor has left your house and you are with your first baby and you are overwhelmed, because all of us, not a single parent that I know has not been overwhelmed. So there will be a part of overwhelm for sure. And you're overwhelmed. And honestly, all this stuff that are cluttering the house might not even help, having a baby chino machine that you bought for 250 euros is not going to help you go through the emotions at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's not. But knowing who to call, knowing what are the professionals that are there to support you. Because, let's face it, many of us don't have family near. I was 100% alone, not a single family member. And many of us are also running away from family. So it's almost even better not to have family near. But it's very sad because we still have the need of being supported. There's no indigenous community ever in history or in the world that has a pregnant woman or a woman with a baby at the top of the mountain and leaves her there on her own. That would never happen. That would be contra nature, contra natura. we will be extinguished as a species. And that's a little bit, like where we're heading in the sense that, of course, people are overwhelmed if they don't get the right support. So that's the whole spirit of this fair. How can we create a difference? How can we be there for each other? Because we're all in this together, right? We're all in the same struggles. And I see you nodding because I know all of the collaborators that I've been talking to in the baby fair, all of us came in to our professions through personal struggles. Not a single one has just come in out of, oh, let me just do this work. No. It's, I struggled. I learned this. I actually came out of this stronger, and I want to give this back. And this is how all of our professional lives have started, including yourself, I know. Yeah.
Indeed. And so for someone walking through the doors, what will they actually experience? And how is this fair different, obviously, from the typical baby fair, which is all about products?
So you walk into a space that is curated and crafted to make you feel safe. That's the number one, safe and connected, right? We want people to feel in their vulnerabilities. Agatha will hold a cacao ceremonial cacao and a sound bath. And it is all meant to start from the get-go with connecting with our hearts and our emotions. And then we'll have a full day with 4 panels where we will hear from different experts that you've already mentioned. What are the most important aspects that they want to bring in to all the audience, the biggest lessons learned, the things that they see in the practice, and how we can help all of those people in the audience to do things differently than we did. And in parallel, there will be many different workshops all around the 4 B's of the baby fair. So before belly, birth, and beyond, before being everything around conception and infertility issues, but also loss and complications. So we're not just talking about the happy moments. We're also talking about the difficult moments and how we can support people through those journeys. Because again, everybody will go through some sort of hurdles along the way, either through pregnancy or parenting, or both. So before belly, obviously it's around pregnancy, birth, so a lot also around birth and how to make this beautiful, magical, almost spiritual moment the best that we can. Obviously everybody wants a nice, powerful birth, and the beyond. So everything that has to do with not just the postpartum, but the postpartum, the part where I normally come in as a family coach is, when the kids start talking, when they have opinions, when we have complications with behavior and so on. So everything that has to do with the beyond. And then in the meantime, also in parallel, we'll have a kids corner. So your kids can be having fun and your babies can be taken care of by Hola Nani and Coffee and Kids. And we have many collaborators that work with kids. So they will be well taken care of. And we also have a marketplace with some conscious companies and professionals that will showcase their work in the different booths that we have throughout the building.
Fantastic.
And last but not least, because of course, we can't do very simple. No, we had to do a full amazing program. At the end, we have a speed dating. The idea is that we have a one-stop shop, right? So if you're pregnant and you know that you will want to eventually hire a doula or a postpartum doula, or you might not, but you want to see what they do and what's the value of it, or you want to find your midwife, or you want to find your breastfeeding specialist and support. So by the way, we have a breastfeeding specialist, Andrea, lactation consultant support all day in a breastfeeding room. We have a special beautiful sofas where you can go and breastfeed your child and also get hands-on support if you need to from one of the best specialists around the whole day. So I think it's going to be great.
It sounds amazing. And it sounds like there's a lot of options there for everyone. So if every parent or parent-to-be is leaving the baby fair with just one feeling or one message, what would you hope that's going to be?
Mothered. I want people to feel safe and seen and mothered, and that we are there to hold people, it's beautiful. This idea of being held, in my difficult moments as a mother, the only thing that I want is somebody to come and say, I got you. I'm here for you. It happened with my neighbor the other day, well, a few months ago. I was so overwhelmed and I started crying, as soon as I saw her. She's an old lady and she's lovely. And I had a difficult day with my kids. And then I said, can I have a hug? And I just started crying with her. And later on, I realized I just wanted to be mothered by somebody else. I wanted to be, we have so much in our shoulders as new moms. It's a lot, it's all of us carry so much. So of course, the institutions and the systems might not be very mothering to us. And this is also one of the elements of the baby fair. It is a non-for-profit event aimed to actually change and start working on different projects to change the status quo at a systemic level. So I want to probably create a foundation with Tiny Expat, my collaborator, to start changing this at a systemic level, because we don't have that yet. We're not very much at the top of the pyramid. New moms, new parents in general, and babies when we should be. And I want to change that. And the Baby Fair is just one first step towards achieving that goal.
I love that. It reminds me of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, except it's going to be the mother's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, 100%.
Super. And with thanks to Maria from Mama Maria Coaching and Dawn from Tiny Expat and all the collaborators, we actually have a ticket to give away to someone who is pregnant currently or planning on getting pregnant. And you're actually listening to this episode, or you're listening to the whole podcast, trying to get as much information as you can. Why don't you come down on October the 11th and actually meet people, meet your community, meet your village, and maybe even meet your birthing partner with it. You know, one of the fantastic doulas that are actually here in Amsterdam. If you would like to win this ticket, you can head on over to Instagram and you can come on to one of the reels that we'll create for this episode with myself and Mama Maria. And all you have to do is just comment and say, I want it. And that's it. Simple as. We don't ask for much here on this podcast. So thank you, Maria, for giving us this ticket to give away to someone who I hope to see at the event. I'll be there myself moderating the first panel, which is about before pregnancy, before having a child, before conception, before matrescence affects us all. So I really hope to see a lot of unfamiliar faces and hopefully meet part of my community that I actually haven't met yet as well. Maria, thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you on October 11th.
Me too. Thank you, Eva, for being part of this. I love our collaboration. And of course, you've been a media partner from the get-go. So I'm very grateful to all of your support.